All right, good morning from Bassmaster Open number 2. It is a beautiful day, man. We've had some horrible weather during practice, just nasty stuff. Like, I'm talking cold and rainy and gross, but today is beautiful. We got all the guys blasting off back here. I am boat 193 here at Lake Ouachita, 193. So I get to fish till 5:35, get on a little evening bite. The bait should rise up and I should be able to catch them in the evening, which should be good. And I got a long day to learn. You know, I had a decent practice, but it's been very random and sporadic. Like, I'll catch a few good ones throughout the day, like 3+ pounders, but it's not easy to duplicate. So I just need to keep my trolling motor down. I'm gonna be scoping all day, and I wanna try to teach you guys a little bit about what I'm seeing, when I catch one, where they were, how I tease them into eating. So after I hook one, I'm gonna come back. As I'm doing my thing, I wanna explain to you guys what went on with that bite, because every bite is unique. And you know, scoping all day is not easy work. A lot of people think it's easy and it's just simple. It's hard work. Like, it is exhausting to go scope for 10 to 12 hours. It really is, but it's fun and it's worth it. You kind of have to do it, especially on a lake like this. You could go catch them shallow, but I think this tournament's gonna be one out deep for the most part, and I'm just gonna go do my thing. It's what I like to do, and I'm hoping there are some tournaments where I can go fish deep, or fish shallow, sorry, and catch them. But this one right here is gonna be one of the deep ones. The water's super clear. So I weigh in at 5:35, and tomorrow I have a short day. I kind of like the long day on day one. I can get out there. If I catch them pretty early, I can practice and just try to learn and absorb all day long, which is gonna be the goal. So we'll see what happens.
93, Joey Medea. Live well on, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good, man.
Thank you.
What time, Joey?
Thank you. 5:35.
Right here, brother. Check in.
Thank you.
Way on out there, Black Hills.
Okay. I'm going cranking for 30 minutes, but y'all didn't expect that. Secret's out. I caught some fish cranking these grass points. It looks like rock, but it's actually a lot of grass down there. Just cranking these grass lines, speed cranking them with this 6" pressure series, CD7. Anyone that's ever fished in tournaments knows that a lot of the time what you think is going to work does not work. So I tried that pattern real quick. I did spend about 30 minutes, and then I ran to some deep fish, and I was hoping that that deal would work out. When I got there, there was already a couple boats there. It happened to be two of my buddies, Tucker Smith and Paul Marks, and then Dakota Ebear was in the back. So I knew I was in a good area because those guys are great fishermen, and it was just time to hunker down and catch some fish. And this is a place I had caught them on day one of practice. So I hadn't been there really to explore it a whole lot more than that, but there was a lot of fish out there on my first day of practice on Lake Ouachita, and I was excited to get out there and see what was happening. So you'll notice right here, I am getting my arsenal of spinning rods ready, and I had a bunch of different ones rigged up. I had the Z-Man Streaks 375 on a finesse size jig head, which is my go-to. It's a 3/16 ounce jig head, And then I also had a 6 cents 5/16, which is a little heavier. And then I had actually a big 1/2 ounce one too, with a 1/0 hook. So I had all those different jig heads rigged up, but I also had different baits on there. So I had some 4-inch baits, some 5-inch baits. Those are all the scented jerk shads, and then of course my Streaks 375 that I love so much. And I would rotate between those based on how deep the fish were. If I could get it to them, I'd much rather get the Streaks 375 on the finesse size, because I feel like I can make them eat that bait better. But sometimes you just couldn't get that thing down there to 50 feet and actually hit your target. I caught a keeper. Old deep water floater. Not a very big one, spotted bass. $183. So you're going to notice right here I make a quick switch to the 3/16 ounce Z-Man finesse size jig head, and I see some fish up higher in the water column, and I say those are bass. That's a big one. Yes, sir. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Biggin'. Ooh, wow. $3.40. I was so fired up after catching a good one, and then I see another one that looks perfect sitting there. I throw at it, and this is one of those things in fishing that it is crushing to lose a fish like I'm about to do. And it was, you know, a 3.5 to 4 pounder, another big one. But you just can't let that kind of thing upset you. I got to trust in God's timing and His plan for the day, and just keep on fishing hard. That's a good, decent one too. Biggin'. No! Why? So there were also a lot of striped bass swimming out in these timber fields, and of course you kind of had to throw at them. Some of them looked, you know, similar to bass. You could be like 90% sure they weren't bass, but you had to throw. So right here I catch a couple stripe. They love eating a Ned Beaky, as I call it. But you know, I also, right after that, another thing, a little misfortune happened. So you're about to see that again, and you know, things were kind of, it was good. I had a good one in the bag, but you can see where things, if I just didn't stay calm and just trust and believe things were going to work out if they were meant to, where I could have started losing it right here. You know, you lose a big fish, you catch a couple stripe, which you don't want to do. You don't want to be messing with those. And then all of a sudden, something I've done 1,000 times, catching a 2.5 pounder and boat flipping it in the boat, this right here happens. And it's just it's kind of wild, but it's just part of the deal with fishing. Finally landed one of these suckers. Golly. Lost some dang big ones, but thankful for what I got. So I had 2 largemouth in the bag, and I filled my limit out right here with some spotted bass, also caught some more striper, and just kept on grinding around. But you could tell the fish were changing. A lot of them were actually kind of disappearing, and you wouldn't see near as many fish in the timber. It was such an early morning thing. Early morning they'd be out there roaming, you could see them. Later in the day they absolutely disappeared, and I don't think it was all that they just got tight in the timber. I think a lot of them literally just left. I don't know if they went deeper or if they just spread out up towards the bank or what the deal was, but it was not the same later in the day. Got 5. So I had a limit for about 11 pounds, and I ran out of that creek seeing how things had changed. See how slick and sunny it is right here? And I actually ran to a different creek, never got a bite in there, but watch how the weather changes. And this is like within an hour, maybe a tiny bit more. See how the weather changed? I got some clouds and a little wind. So I ran back to where I started, hoping that another big one would show up. This is pretty cool right here. Actually, when I rolled in there, I didn't see much. I scoped for a good 5 minutes without ever making a cast. And you can do that when you got a limit in the boat and you know what you're looking for. I just scoped around, kept looking, kept hunting, and this doesn't show how long it actually was, but I was just scoping around, hoping to see one, and next thing I know, I saw what I was looking for. All right, now we got a good bag. And I lost one this size out here earlier. All right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm really hoping these clouds come in. I think when the clouds come in, the fish will rise up a little higher, because they're in like 40 right now easily. So that was a great thought, and it was supposed to get cloudier throughout the day, but as you can see, the weatherman was wrong again, and it got a little bit more sunny and calmer, which is not good. Oh, I thought that was a big one. This next one right here was probably my favorite of the day, just because it was up shallower, you know, at least near some shallower timber, and I saw it. It was such a slow tease and a slow bite. It was just awesome. That's a good one. Oh yeah. Now we got a bag. Look at that. Ned Mickey in the nose. Oof, that's a pig. Finally, saw one that's a bass. All right. $3.53. All right, I got 15 pounds just about. So I spent a lot of time fishing after that and did not catch hardly anything. You know, I had like 3 hours left and I had 15 pounds and I ran all over the place, trying different things, trying grass lines. I had caught some fish on main lake grass lines in practice. I had caught fish in some other deeper timber areas. I fished everything I could think of, and I even came back right here to the place where I had started the day out and caught 2 of my biggest fish, and it just was not happening. I could not find them. I couldn't get them to eat. They had kind of disappeared. And then right here at the end of the day, I also went back to the ramp area and caught a keeper right here and had a couple that looked like big ones come up and sniff it and not eat it. But the day was over, and I was happy with what I had, and it was time to head on into weigh-in. $193.
193.
Am I the last one?
Hey, one more.
Here it comes. 2 more maybe.
I see him coming in. We'll go ahead and start calling out. He's a 2-time Open champion. He won the Lake Ouachita event last year. He's headed to the Bassmaster Classic next month. From Alabama, not yet. Now we're ready. Joey Nania, step on up. 5 in the bag. It looks like Joey's had a good start. 5 fish. Worth 15 pounds and 9 ounces. Top 20 in 19th place right now. Yep, grab you a couple, Joey. There we go. Right here in the middle. There he is, Joey Nania. The very end of the tournament, or the day. Good job. We'll see where you end up. 19th place.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun. And, you know, I did lose like one close to 4 and a 2.5, but it was early in the day and I caught 2 more big ones after that. So I think about God's timing. And if I would have caught that one early, I might not have caught the other 2 big ones because my timing would have been completely different. So, and it's like looking for a needle in a haystack out there. But I'm grateful for it. We'll see what I can do tomorrow.
One more day. Early day tomorrow, too. Good job. Good finish today.